Welcome to episode 381 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John, and I am joined by Ryan.
Hey, everybody, here at the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games. We've recently picked up games we're currently playing, and we roll back the rock in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
So we're playing a little bit of We're Back on the Super Nintendo, and we'll get into that in the Inflation Deflation Challenge. But what else are we talking about today?
All right, so Wildlight starts to go the way of the dinosaurs as they undergo mass layoffs. Then will Sony's next state of play evolve the PS5 lineup and grant the wishes of children everywhere? And then we'll see you in the future in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
That was a good one. Did you use AI for that one?
No, so what I do, I write it and then I let AI know about it, and then it judges me and it gives me slight tips that I usually ignore.
Just a tip?
Yeah, sometimes it like, I don't know, a while ago there was one where it was like we were doing a Batman and it was like shines a bat signal on something, and I was just, oh, that's so obvious. How did I miss that?
There you go. It's helping, see? Well, of course, you can find us on thegamedeflators.com, our very out-of-date website. I really got to get on that. You can also find us on social media at Game Deflators and at The Game Deflators on all your favorite social media websites. You can also find us on YouTube. So if you're watching, thank you. Go ahead, hit the little bell thingy. Like, comment, subscribe. Definitely subscribe. We're almost at 200, which is kind of cool. So,
woo, thank you.
10 more people, and then we're good.
200 by 400.
What?
We'll get 200 subscribers by episode 400.
Oh, yeah, I would. Yeah. I think it's doable.
Come on, people, make it happen. 200 by 400.
How about 400 by 400? That'd be a good one.
Oh my God.
That'd be crazy.
A rush. Tell your friends.
So what was the other thing? We're a podcast. So go ahead and find us on your favorite podcast applications everywhere. And let's go into pickups. I think that's everything. Yeah, that should be everything. All right. Struggling. Okay, so I didn't have a pickup initially, and I'm like, wait, I haven't shared this pickup from 2 weeks ago, so it counts. So a friend sent me, he was like, hey, can you DM for us, for my wife and I? I'm like, sure, I can DM for you, like a short campaign or something, because she's getting into it. She just want to check it out. So I brought up a couple ideas. I'm like, I got some different books that have shorts and like, shorter campaigns of 3 or 4 sessions, one shots, things of that nature. We could definitely do anything along those lines. So then I get my mail a couple weeks ago, and this is sitting in there.
Oh, nice.
So it's the Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, which I've wanted to actually check out for a while. So I text him like, so I assume this is a very strong hint on what you would like to actually do. He's like, yeah, that's what we want to do. So what's cool is the dynamic dungeons. Somebody actually created all the maps and dynamic dungeons for that starter set. So I'll be able to use, TV with nice, like,
I like the dynamic dungeons.
Oh yeah, I do too. So be able to use like nice high quality video for that specific campaign. So I'm excited about it. Obviously I've been sick and I've had travel, and there'll be more travel at some point soon. So I really got to get into that, start reading it, and then start creating like some AI generated, approaches to how I need to handle the campaign.
I bet that there's just like a PDF version that you could just like read on your trip.
Probably. Yeah, there probably is. I should look into that.
You got to have, dude, of all the stuff you have to have some form of tablet, I would imagine.
Yeah, I do have a tablet. It currently has like food and yogurt stains on it for my son, but I have a tablet. Well, technically it's now his tablet. That's the rule of the house. Like, it's for a long time been, Dada, where's my tablet? I'm like, dude, you didn't even buy that thing. It was just for me to do D&D and to be able to watch Netflix when I was on trips. And now I can't even do that. It's his like every day he's using it, man. He's playing games and everything else. I'm like, all right, great. So there goes my tablet. So it's awesome. Whenever we go to play D&D at like Joel's house, I use that exclusively for my I learned that from you, actually, using the tablet for tracking the character sheet and such. And so whenever I go to Joel's house, I'm like, all right, cool, let me load up my tablet. Oh, 10%. Oh, 20%. So
the joy.
That's just how it goes. Yeah. So that was the pickup. As far as what I'm playing, I'm still playing Valkyrie Profile. And It's decent. I mean, I'm still kind of going through the motions on that game. I am almost done with chapter 2, and I think there's 8 chapters if I recall. So almost done with chapter 2. I sent somebody Valhalla. We're gonna see if that was what Odin wanted, essentially, and we'll go from there. Like I said in the last episode, you're given parameters of this character has to hit this many hero points, and they have to excel in, like, they might be an archer and they have to excel in, you know, prowess or something, or they got to excel in humor might be one of their traits. And so you have to build up those characters to hit those traits. And it's kind of dumb in a sense, because if you have to hit that specific character and they haven't been leveled up in your party, you have to start them from level 1 in a state where the characters are fighting enemies that are like at level 8 and level 9. So they get insta-killed pretty quickly. So you have to level them up fast to get those traits and points, so that way you can send them to Valhalla. So it's kind of this like weird dynamic where I'm like consistently having a party of 3 at the very beginning to level up a character who is going to ultimately end up going into, Valhalla, and I'm not going to use them anyways. So it kind of sucks, but so far so good, I guess. I did finish up this, or not done with it yet, but I was in this like swamp area, which was pretty cool puzzles. I had to use a guide on this because there's no way I would have got it. So you have to like cover yourself with 3 different scents in this like dungeon, and it's the first one is like you cover yourself in this mud, and that mud, when you are covered with that stench, there's a red flower that closes up and the vine disappears. Well, the only way to keep that vine from reappearing is you have to get acid from this like weird place. So you dump acid on it, and then you go to another section. When you get to that section, you take the scent of like a flower or something like that, and then it lets you traverse through some different areas. And then there's another one where you find a corpse and you have to use the perfume off of a corpse, and then it gets another flower to go away. It's so odd, but like the puzzle involved a lot of back and forth, and if you went to too many rooms before you hit like the next section you had to go to, everything reset. So if I didn't have a guide, it would have taken me hours, I feel, to get that done.
Interesting.
Yeah, even though like I read, okay, the red flower doesn't like this, the yellow flower doesn't like that, blue, like I knew it in general, but it's basically a maze of like up and down and left and right, and if you just don't know it, you don't know it. I imagine before guides, you would have had to take a piece of paper and just start writing out like
Start drawing it out old school.
Yeah, you'd have to grid it out old school back then. So overall, though, it was interesting. I'm going to be entering a battle with, I think it's a fairy, if I recall, and that should be the end of that chapter when I conclude that battle. But if
How
not,
many chapters are there?
I think there's 8, if I recall. I have
This is chapter what?
2. I'm like 8 hours into a game, so that makes sense. Like 4 hours per chapter roughly would get you to about 32. There are 8 chapters. Oh, and then there's looks like the Jotunheim Palace, Asgard Hill, and then Seraphic Gate, and then there's endings, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. So
there's like 11 chapters, really.
Well, I don't know how long those other things are, but yeah. And
maybe they're like side areas or something even.
Well, or maybe it's just part of a story, right? Like you don't necessarily battle or do anything like, or maybe you do battle in those areas, but maybe it's like a one concrete thing. Whereas a chapter, the way it's set right now, is you have to find a certain amount of characters, go into that experience, or like that state of seeing how that person came to be as an individual, and then completing certain objectives with like certain quests within each respective area. So like the first area had a cave that I went into and I battled whatever enemy, and then the next chapter had this swamp and there was some other cave that I had to go into. And so those are like your main battle areas, of course. And then how you level up those specific characters, be able to send them off to Valhalla. It's a very odd game. I was looking up some reviews on it because I was curious if, what the general consensus was. A lot of people like it and they feel great about the story and things. Like the story's okay so far, so hopefully it does get better. But I feel like a lot of those reviews are nostalgia focused, versus where that game has aged today. And I know there's like the Lenif remake and all that that's on PS4 digitally, and I'm sure that looks great too, but that still doesn't get away from the overall concept of what this game is. It's just very different. And so far, I'm not a huge fan of that different take on an RPG. So we'll see. So I am starting to think about what that next game will be beyond that.
What are you thinking? Like another RPG?
I'm actually thinking another RPG would be nice.
Dude, I've got do you like tactical RPGs?
You know, I'm not the biggest fan after I played was it Cartia? I think it was. I think that was a tactical RPG. I've played some in the past. The only tactical RPG.
You should check out a Disgaea.
I have them. I don't know if I want to try Disgaea.
Disgaea 3 is like, it's a wild story. I played some of, I think it was Disgaea 3. It's the one with Laharl, but it's like, he's like the Prince of Hell, and he's got like this like succubus that he hangs out with, and then like an angel that comes down and joins their party. Like, it's got like a lot of like weird comedy that you would definitely appreciate, but it's got like such deep mechanics. Like, I remember you can like go into the weapons, and there's like dungeons inside of every weapon, and you can like level up the weapons and then like come out and level up the character. It's just like got so much depth to it if you want to really get into it. Like, I don't think you have to, but they're interesting, and I know that you probably have them and haven't touched them.
I do. I think I have all the Disgaea games actually. Even the is it Prinny? I think is part of Disgaea as well. Yeah, I've got the PSP game.
Yeah, they're
Prinny.
like penguins that have 2 peg legs.
Yeah, I've got the PSP game on that as well. You know, that reminds me, Valkyrie Profile also has a weapon break system. So if you use certain weapons, like there's a whatever % chance they could break. So I was in one of those like dungeon areas, and I had a really nice crossbow for Lenith. And
Not
as
anymore.
not anymore. So I'm going through and I save and I do all my stuff. I'm like, why the hell isn't she hitting hard anymore? Yeah, her damn crossbow broke midway through, and I saved. I'm like,
can you repair them, or are they just garbage?
They're gone. They just disappear, man.
Oh no!
So I gave her another bow, but it's not nearly the
just
same.
Like throwing bolts.
No, she's just like elbowing people. And then what's funny is the other character I have in my party, he's got this giant ass sword. Okay. And 2-handed sword. And so
I've seen some of the screenshots. Those swords are huge.
Yeah, he's got a really big sword. It's like the Berserk type sword. So he's hitting with the sword for a while, and I'm like, okay, cool. And so after a while, I see him running up to enemies and elbowing them. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, is this just so it goes on for several battles. I'm like, did his weapon break too? And
does it still show him hold the sword, but he doesn't use it in the attack?
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh man.
So that's why I was like, what happened? Like, why is it just because I'm not hitting? Like, what's going on? It's because the sword was broken, but the animation still shows the sword. So
oh man.
Yeah, it took me forever to get to that. But no, I was gonna bring up tactical RPG wise, the ones that have been my favorite over time are Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. That's actually probably one of my favorites.
Legendary.
Yeah, that's a great one. And I love the whole like mission system on that. Or to be able to improve your guild status or whatever. So that one's great. Arc the Lad 1 and Arc the Lad 2 are 2 games that I thoroughly enjoyed, and those were tactical based RPGs. And then I want to play Arc the Lad 3, so maybe that's one I should jump into next. I hear Ein.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, it's all good. I just randomly heard
back.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I might do that, but I've had a pretty bad taste in my mouth as of late for tactical RPGs, having played Cartia, and while a decent game overall for the story, was not so great from a gameplay standpoint.
You had a hard time with that one.
And then Hoshigami, which I've really wanted to play for years, is just hard as balls, dude. That's just a hard game. And the story is like, it's not that great so far, even though it's one that's been on my list for many, many years. So I never even completed that one. I actually stopped that one after I think a move at one point. So probably should get back to that at some point too. But Arc the Lad 3 might be what I jump into. And that'll conclude all of the PS1 RPGs for Arc the Lad for me. So, but that's it, man. How about you?
All right. So, no pickups this week. I don't remember picking anything up. And let's see, I did a little bit more Dragon Quest. So I walked like another 37 minutes, another 1.82 miles. That puts me at 4.32 miles so far on my journey. I realized that I did not save last time I stopped playing. I didn't have to start all the way over from the beginning. Like it auto saved me after I completed like the tutorial part. So I just had to kind of like do a couple cutscenes and do like a basic quest to just jump on a roof. And it's actually, I don't know if it's just me being dumb, but it's a little bit weird walking on the treadmill and like turning the camera and trying to jump, like my brain and my feet and the character, like between me and him, neither of us is doing exactly what either of us should be.
So you got some YouTube comments on that, by the way. I don't know if you saw.
No, I did not.
Let me find what people said about this. I put on there like my new way to play RPGs, and all thumbs up, so not a single negative thumb. And the ones that we got were nice. Though I always tell my friends they should start doing the same thing they do in real life, training wise. So if you train a Pokemon for 2 days, then you should be working out the same duration you played. And he said one friend of mine understood this and is jacked like a sailor. So you could have quads like a sailor, I guess, if you keep doing this.
Right.
And then somebody else said, awesome idea. So you're on the right path, sir. So keep doing it. I'm curious to see where you go with this. You have to complete it now. You know that, right?
Right. Well, the only time I've ever done anything like this before was like using the Pokewalker and playing Heart Gold, and just like you throw that thing on and you just go for a walk and you're like playing your DS while you're walking. I've definitely done that before.
I remember in college, I had some friends that were not so athletic.
And Pokemon Go, like who didn't like put a ton of miles on Pokemon Go when that came out 10 years ago?
That's true. Wait, what?
My God.
It was 10 years ago?
Yeah, 2016.
Wow. I remember going with Melanie and Brad for raids and stuff, and we'd all be in different cars making our way to different raids and groups. That was pretty cool. So yeah, I was gonna say is like in college, I had some friends that weren't athletic in any form, and they would take the Pokemon Walker, just shake it. I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, I'm leveling up my Pokemon.
Shake it.
Like that's just cheating.
Shake it. Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, it's as much cheating as playing Skyrim and like putting a rubber band around your controller so you could just sneak into a corner for an hour.
True. I mean, at least put the Pokewalker on a shake weight or something, right? Like
shake weight, right?
Yeah. Would make the most sense.
Get your cab fare.
But yeah, I'm trying to think.
I've been doing that.
I was gonna say the only video game I think that I ever did working out was the Switch, the Ring Fit Adventure. Yeah.
People like that.
That was a good workout, actually.
There's a speed run of that.
Fuck that, man. Yeah, that actually
was die.
That was a legit workout. There were times I was doing squats, like I can't go any lower. Like, why are you making me go lower? And it's just because the bands weren't set right and stuff. So yeah, we had a good time. My wife and I, every day we'd do like 15 or 20 minutes of Ring Fit Adventure. So all right, go on. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
So Guilty Gear Journey, week 2 fight. I went on. So the rank mode, you got to do 10 matches. Apparently, I had done 4 matches before, so I went on and did the other 6 matches. Obviously, getting Shrek'd because it's just like putting you where it's going to put you. And finally, I landed. Obviously, I'm in like 1 iron, like the lowest tier. But like it kind of rates you on any matches you do, and you get points. So I'm at like level 13, and some nights it's like I tried to get on last night and there was like nobody on. Like I think I got like 2 matches and it was making me wait like 5 minutes for a match. And I think it's because like once I got placed, like nobody's really in the bottom tier. You can fight above you though. So like there's a way to go in and change the floor that you're fighting on, but you can only fight up. You can't fight like down a certain amount or something. Like it might be 2 floors below you or at your floor. I don't remember. I read it somewhere online. So then tonight, I actually, as soon as I got home, my wife was on the phone and I was like, I'm going to throw in like a couple of matches real quick because that's what I want to be able to do. Like, I want this to be the game where it's like, all right, she's getting ready or I'm waiting on something for like 10, 15 minutes. I could just like sit down and play like a match or two and just kind of progressively see how I improve. And I already feel like I'm starting to get better. Like I'm already starting to feel like a lot more natural on the buttons and like feel like I'm more in control of what I'm doing. I looked at some kind of basic like strings to put together, just like real quick, like two things or three things. And the one that I gravitated towards was like the first one that was listed. So I guess I'm already kind of going in that direction without having like really looked at it. And I jumped on the Discord. I haven't actually reached out to anybody in there because I just signed up for it earlier today, but it looks like there's a ton of resources in there. Like it's funny, all of the like newbie resources are videos that I already like found on YouTube and the ones that I've been watching that got me pointed towards Guilty Gear. So I've already kind of looked into some of those and it looks like there's a bunch of active new people on there like searching for matches and stuff. So I'm confident that I can kind of keep pushing this forward and seeing how far I can kind of take it, but obviously I'm going to get my ass kicked for a long time, very hard, and that'll probably never stop.
Yeah, that's how I felt with Smash Bros. When I would play online. I just got to a point where I'm like, I'm not even going to play online anymore. I'm just going to play with friends or play with family whenever they're here, and that's it. Because I am not able to hang with that, and I'm not gonna commit to it. So kudos to you on
Yeah.
committing to it and
I
getting
almost
better at
went
it.
Smash. I actually started before I started watching Guilty Gear content again. I started getting into this guy Turned Down for Walt, who is like a Smash Melee like announcer for competitions and stuff. But he's got a bunch of great videos on like the history of Melee and like matches and tournaments and stuff. He's got lots of awesome content that's really good. Go check him out. Um, but Melee is such a killer thing, and I've always been like, you always have whooped me at Smash. Like if you like, not that I'm ever gonna be good at Guilty Gear by any stretch of the imagination, but like I don't know. I'd been thinking about the fight pad for like a year and wanting to try like a leverless because I always thought like a big fight stick would be way too bulky for me. And this is like a fun thing that I can decorate also on the side. So it's got lots of other things for me. So I'm like, I'm pumped to try that. And Smash was just going to be like way too hard. Although I did learn in that at least in one of the Smash games, Mr. Game Watch is actually really good. So that's who I've always mained in Smash since Melee came out.
I don't remember which one he's good at, but I've always mained Jigglypuff. It just because it pisses people off when you get hit rest out of nowhere.
Jigglypuff is great in Melee.
Yeah, Jigglypuff. Well, I kind of preferred they nerfed Jigglypuff in later games, but I think it was the Wii version where you no longer could like roll off the edge completely. Like you could, but you could recover. Whereas in Melee, if you're like just floating, there was no way to recover because it just kept spinning.
You just kept going.
Yeah, so overall, like my favorite's always been Jigglypuff. I'll play with Fox. I learned Samus as well at one point to play with Samus. So I've picked up a lot of different characters, but I've never, outside of Jigglypuff, I've never stayed consistent in learning like one particular character. Because I've always just liked trying all the characters out. And that's something you really can't do when you play fighting games. I feel like you have to kind of stick to that one character, main that character, and really learn their ins and outs to be great at a certain game.
I mean, not necessarily because like once you play other characters and learn their moves, that makes you better against that character because you're going to understand the matchup more. But like from all the like newbie advice and stuff that I've been watching videos for, like everybody's like just find the character that speaks to you because eventually you're probably going to try another character or switch or just keep that character forever, but just like don't need to feel the need to like at the beginning try every single character. Like I watched a video on like all of the characters and it spends like a couple minutes talking about each one. So I actually tried to like follow that video and switch between all the like starter characters to like give them a try and try like the little thing that he was like showing real quick.
Yeah.
And I only did like 7 or 8 of them, and I was like, I don't even have half the cast unlocked because they're all DLC and I'm not going to buy them right away. And most of the characters I'm probably never going to play. Like there's 2 DLC characters that I actually kind of want to get. Unica is this like chick that rides around on this like hover bike, but the hover bike is also like a big ass gun. So she like fights with that and she looks pretty cool. And then there's this other character, Biken, who's like a one-armed, one-eyed, badass samurai chick. So they both look like fun characters, and you can buy individual characters. So I may at some point end up buying each of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like Milia so far, so I'm gonna keep sticking with her, and I'm starting to get some of her stuff kind of down a little bit, just as a very beginner kind of putting it together. So every time I come back, I feel a little bit better. And that's kind of a lot of the frustration, I think, with fighting games is like in the moment, you're trying like hard to do something, especially at the beginning, but like you really need to sleep on it, let your brain absorb it, and then come back to it, and you'll be like a little bit better each time. And that's like the mentality you have to have, because like you're just not gonna win. Like the
Yeah.
odds of you winning ever in the beginning are so small, like don't even think about it.
That's kind of how I am with like Souls type games, right? Or any action RPG is like that. If I can't get past a certain boss after however many tries, like, all right, sleep on it, come back tomorrow. And generally, you do beat it after that. But what
I want a new Souls game, man. I've been thinking about it. I want to play something again. I know that Neo 3 is like coming out, and that's going to be, I've never played any of those.
well, you could always jump into Sekiro. Just saying.
I played Sekiro.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sekiro was too hard. I'm not great at parrying.
You could do Stellar Blade.
Yeah. I've also never played Dark Souls 1 though. Or Demon Souls. I think Demon Souls Remake. That's like one of the things I've always wanted to play on the PS5, and now that I've got one, I can do it.
Demon Souls would be good. The reason I'm suggesting Stellar Blade is because if you can't get past certain battles, you can always put in like the story mode on it, and then you could just progress as normal. But
I've never beaten a Souls game, I don't think.
You could have beat Bloodborne. You still can beat Bloodborne. The comment I was going to make though on the fighting game, as far as like picking your character and sticking with it, I meant that after like what you've done, right? Where you've played a few different characters, you tried them out. You're like, I like this one. This is who I want to main. This is who I want to progress with. And that's where I do feel like with a fighting game, in my case, it was Jigglypuff early on that I started using for Smash, whereas like my brother uses Marth and another friend uses Luigi for his main character. And so those
all good characters.
Those are ultimately the characters that we play with if we want to play like serious. But I've never gotten to the point in like any Smash game where, yeah, like I just play that character and I only master that character and that's what I do. My brother did that with Marth to some extent, which is why he always gets pissed off when I play Jigglypuff.
Tricky.
Marth is a little tricky. And I've seen other Marth players and stuff over years, but like that's the thing, right? You say, hey, I'm a Marth player or I'm a Fox player. Like that's who you play with. So in Guilty Gear, it's whoever you play with in that, or in
I don't know, you might have like a pocket Captain Falcon you could throw out.
Maybe that's kind of how it is with like Samus for me. Samus would be like my pocket character, but I could throw out and play. But like that's all it is, right? Like I've tried to main Jigglypuff, but I have played with so many other characters over time that I'm not like amazing at Smash. I can hold my own against some people, but throw me online, like, no, I'm done. So
you're not wave dashing.
Yeah, I'm not doing any of that mess, man. And so, or even like spiking people with different characters on the edge. Like I can't even do that type of stuff. So you
edge guarding,
all that type of stuff. You have players that do that pretty consistently and are very good at it. And that's primarily, I think, because they focus on like one character. And that's just the nature of fighting games. Like, if I'm Tekken, I'm playing Jin, or I'm playing, another character in that game. So that's one of the reasons I really don't like playing fighting games.
See,
So
I would just like to get competent enough to the point where I can sit down with a fighting game and it's not like, well, I've never played a fighting game, so I got to learn this, because that's every time I sit down to play a fighting game. So if I get competent enough, then like I could be like, oh, sick, like DOA is coming out. Like I can check out the new DOA, because it's like I'm learning that game, but like learning how to like play footsies and knowing that guarding is important and like all that stuff will be good.
where does Footsies come into play with this?
So footsies is like in the neutral when nobody's like taking their turn attacking. Footsies was where you're kind of like using your pokes to like see who can get like close enough to like get in and start something.
Okay. All right.
You're testing each other's range.
That makes sense. I was like, dude, where are we going with this? But yeah, okay. I get you. You know what I'm going to secretly do? I have some Guilty Gear games on older consoles.
You're going to get secretly really good at like Venom and then wreck me.
Secretly really good whenever I see you. You're going to be like, John, you got to check this out. I'm going to just kick your ass, mop the floor if you in Guilty Gear, and you'll have no idea what happened. So we'll see.
You should look up Venom. Maybe that'd be the character for you. I could see you playing him.
It sounds like my type of character.
He's got this like sheet over his face, and he like sets pool balls in the air and then like shoots them with his cue to set up like crazy plays.
I don't know if I would do that. I play characters that. So I'm trying to think of one of the games. So Soul Calibur, I play Maxi. That's who I play in Soul Calibur.
Okay.
Because I like the quick movements. I play quick movement characters generally. Jigglypuff is probably one of the only characters I play that's not a quick movement character when I play a fighting game, but I generally like to play something that's quick moving. So Fox is somebody I used to play when I first started playing Smash.
Millia's quick moving.
That might be the main.
There's a ninja guy. I can't remember his name.
Well, it's all good. All right. Anyway, let's and you're still playing Pokemon Emerald.
Oh yeah, Pokemon Emerald. I'm just leaving Slateport City, I think it's called, and I just fought my rival again. Okay. I haven't gotten the bike yet, but I'm passing under like the bike lane. I love the bike.
Well, with your Pokemon, and the Emerald Slateport is a perfect transition into Pokemon Go on Epstein Island.
Oh my God.
That's our fast news for today. So apparently there was a sundial on Epstein's Island that was in Pokemon Go and had been there for years. And they finally just removed it as of February 9th. The first thought that ran through my head was like, did Jeffrey Epstein actually take the picture, and was he playing Pokemon Go? Like, was that what he was doing? But apparently they're thinking somebody came in with a drone, took a picture, sent it in, and that's how it made it on there. But the fact that it was on there as long as it was, I think they said it was on there as early as, I think it was it 2000? Let's see, Pokemon Go is what, 2020, I think is when they, was it 2016?
Well, that's when the game came out.
I think the picture was taken like 2020, if I recall. And so what people were doing, the story is so dumb, man. So what people were doing is that they were tricking the system, doing that whole like GPS thing where you could trick the system into going into a different area. But they said that the Pokemon on Epstein's Island did not amount to anything special, that they just weren't good Pokemon. And I got a good laugh out of that when I read it. And apparently, in this article as well, they referenced that Epstein himself saw Pokemon Go and then talked to somebody else, said, hey, this game is great. We should look into creating like some other game that's able to see like your aura or something, or like some application to see your aura. I'm like, what? This guy was all over the place, man.
Yeah.
So
he's trying to do something.
So Pokemon Go and Pokemon in general is
nothing good.
Is in the Epstein files, just so you know. It's in there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I've learned that today as well. All right. You probably saw that article. You're like, we're not going to talk about it, but I'm sorry.
I was like, what is this? I read the article. I knew, I figured it was going to come up, and I would have to be educated on it. And I was like, oh my God.
So dumb, man. What else is dumb is High Guard. So most of their studio, their devs have been laid off already after 2 weeks. So this came to us from IGN. No surprises, man. So I was looking in here and they had the data points of like it was in a top 10 games of like 90 something thousand or 100,000 players concurrently, and then now it's at like 4,000 players concurrently.
Yeah.
We played when it was 3v3. They've implemented I think 5v5 in the game, and no surprise, right? Like we played the game. It's not the best game. There's a lot of people that weren't impressed.
If you had 5 people on a map, how is everybody going to be able to mine them crystals? There's not enough crystals for everybody to mine if there's 5 of you.
Well, that, I mean, they probably added more crystals, I imagine, but like the map is just too damn big for 5 people, man. We need to get the rent is too damn high guy on here one day just for those types of things.
It's too damn high.
But it's just too big of a map. Like, okay, cool. So you're supposed to guard your, what I would like to maybe seen with that game is if you're the team, like you swap with the team that's guarding automatically, right? So like it's your turn to guard your fortress and they're going to break in. You have to fortify your fortress. You got to load up on weapons. You got to do what you got to do. And out of their team.
Those kind of games already exist. That's like,
well,
Siege.
But then what the hell is, what's the big deal with high guard then? Like
this was them trying to be like, what if we took Siege and made it different by adding 3 other games inside of it,
and then it's like, Apex.
Well, you don't have any time for these phases. Like, do the build up phase for 2 minutes, do the run around and collect stuff phase for 2 minutes, do the fight for the sword thing for 2 minutes. And it's just like, there's not enough time for any of these phases to matter. Like, yeah, you could run around and collect crystals and buy stuff, I guess. Like, yeah, you could also put a lock picking mini game in there too. Like, does that make it better?
You have horses.
I like the horses.
I don't. I think it's so dumb.
I did. I liked the horses. I thought it was cool to ride around on horses, shooting guns. I like that.
I think what this is telling us though is given the fact
more
that they
cowboy
put in,
games.
No, I'm good. The fact that they put in 5v5 and it's still as low of a concurrent player base as it is, and they laid off a bunch of employees, tells me that financially it's not that great for them. They obviously are saying, oh, we're going to have players that are, devs that will continue to support it. I would not be surprised if there's a studio closure in the future, or they just ultimately say, hey, we're done with this game. We can't support it any longer. It doesn't make sense if you release a game like that on a console that has millions of players available, and on PC as well, where it's at, and you're only getting 5,000 concurrent players. That's not exactly the best. So, especially for something that's been out a couple weeks. So I think that one's going to fade pretty quickly, which goes right into what we talked about. So,
do you think this is a bigger or smaller failure than Concord? Because Concord was like a much more expensive game and it left much sooner. Concord was gone within 2 weeks? This has already been out for 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, but with Concord, I don't know how long Concord was out before it was not supported anymore. But I mean, Anthem's another one too that was pretty rough. But I think Anthem lasted longer.
They just took Anthem offline like a month ago.
So, but that's EA, so they were able to support that much longer than Concord, of course. Honestly, I don't really have too much of an opinion on that because Concord I didn't get to experience, so I can't compare the two. I was actually kind of excited for Concord because I felt that the characters were a little more, there was more potential behind the characers.
I don't remember us having good things to say about Concord leading up to it.
I felt the Concord looked interesting. Like I would have been willing to give it a shot, but you had to pay for that one, right? Like you had
it was like $40.
I wasn't willing to pay for it. If it was a free to play game, I probably would have given it a shot. And I think that's probably where its biggest issue was that people had to pay to $40 up front when you're in a world of so many live service games, and that acted like a live service game as well. Or it was a live service game technically, but you had to pay for it. So I don't know. I can't compare it to, but as far as like the type of game that I like, I would have leaned more towards Concord. So that's why it's unfortunate that one failed as quickly as it did. But I understand that one failed predominantly because of what the game was and the fact that there was a gate behind it of $40 in. So
Yeah.
I don't see that as big of a failure as High Guard being was promoted big at the Game Awards. It was the last thing on. They were supposed to leave a lasting impression, get people hyped for it. It was a free game, which means you should theoretically have a decent player base who's willing to play that for free. And the fact that that concurrent player base is already down to 4K or just under 5K in a period of 2 weeks, I think is a bigger failure than Concord was.
Worthy of the moniker Concord 2.
Sure.
And everybody basically called this one as soon as they saw it. Like, I was the one who I remember coming to the next recording and I had like a star next to it. I was like, I thought it looked all right. And everybody else was like, what was that garbage? And I was like, but it had like a horse.
Yeah, I think my words on that, if we were to go back, it was a game that nobody asked for on that. Yeah. So I hate to see people lose.
Sometimes those are good games. Maybe those are the ones that I always optimistically look at. Like, everybody was like, what's going on with this pottery game during the Xbox thing a couple of weeks ago? And I was like, finally a pottery game.
That looked good though. I like that one. It looked interesting.
Yeah.
Now will it
and
survive?
People love Double Fine, so it'll be niche and okay.
And I think that's the big thing it's got going for it, right? It's niche in that respect of like it's pottery battles, whereas High Guard feels like Apex mixed with something else. Like it doesn't know what it wants to be. And I think that's one of the biggest issues people have with it. Also with these games, I think I brought it up in the past, do they not do any like small tests or batches or like get people's opinions on a broad basis, in whatever phases? Like I know we have beta testing.
What are you talking about? Jeff Keighley likes our game. We don't need anybody else's opinion.
Sure.
And Jeff Keighley, like the day before it launched, was like, I'm ready for your apologies. Tanked.
Did he really?
Yeah, he tweeted like, I'm ready to hear your apologies.
That's why it failed hard, Ben. You don't get the Jeff Keighley stamp of approval.
Jeff Keighley, like, he killed this game, unfortunately, man. Like, they would have been fine if you hadn't come along. They would have had their mediocre game launch, and people would have been like, oh, look at this game. It might grow into something cool if they can manage to get it there. And then they would have had like a nice kind of smooth ride uphill instead of just, hey, you ever skied before, kid? And then getting kicked off the top of a mountain.
Well, that's pretty much what it was. It was skiing right to the bottom. All those players at the top, and now it's nothing. But I mean, it could technically be even next No Man's Sky, right? It could be in terms of like long-term success and something coming back from death. But I don't see that happening with this in a world where there's so many live service games. And we'll talk about one here, Bungie's new marathon. Actually looked kind of cool in the state of play that just occurred today. So I guess let's move on to that. So we have the Video Game Chronicle went ahead and had an article earlier this week about the state of play coming out. So that was our initial reference. But
it happened.
And it happened. So I don't know why we didn't just wait. So I have Polygon's article up here that just says like the top things that were announced. 2 God of War projects were covered. So you had the God of War trilogy remake. That video I sent you, I think yesterday. It said, hey, check this out. It's going to kind of talk about what maybe we can expect. The first thing is always Bloodborne. Something Bloodborne never happens.
Never going to happen.
Which is crazy because they own the IP. So Sony could totally do it with like Blue Point or something. They just don't.
You know what? I think that'll be, they did Demon Souls as a launch title for PS5. If they did Bloodborne as a launch title for PS6, they would sell a bajillion PS6s, even if they were $1,000 a pop.
You know what? With the Bloodborne fan base, you might not be wrong on that.
Yeah, everybody would be like,
Bloodborne. You could even do a Bloodborne like HD remake or something along those lines. I mean, it doesn't really need an HD remake, but you could do a Bloodborne remake and pack it in with that game, and you would sell out of everything.
You
right
could
away.
Just put it out as is at 60 FPS, and people would flip out.
That's true. Yeah, that is very true.
Like, they could have abused Bloodborne the way that they abused The Last of Us, and they just never took advantage of it that way because they didn't have Naughty Dog to like be like, yeah, we'll do that a third time.
I'm still waiting for the April Fool's.
We'll make a movie about it too, a whole series.
I'm still waiting for the Bloodborne April Fool's Day joke, a Bloodborne cart where it has like the Mario Kart version.
No, they made that.
Oh, did somebody actually?
But they
do
had
that?
they had to softly change the IP a bit to be so infringing. But yeah, it's a legit game that's like out on Steam now, I think, or at least in like beta. Yeah,
I need to check that out. Yeah, nice.
So that was a big win when that happened.
So the trilogy, I would have rather have had like a new God of War game announced. Like, it's been rumored that Kratos will be.
What are you talking about? You get 2.
No. But it's been rumored that Kratos will be going to Egypt. I would love to see him take on the Egyptian gods. And then the final one is, of course, there's got to be the Roman gods or Christian god would be the next thing, right? Fighting his way up the ladder there. But the other project they announced was God of War: Sons of Sparta, which is basically a Metroidvania of a young Kratos. Not my favorite.
It looks all right. I mean, it's got the pixel graphics where it's like really advanced, like very stylish, high quality pixel art, but it kind of is just not what I like in this kind of style of a game, I think. Like I don't know. It looks weird to me. It's not my type. And also, I don't know, man. I'm not all that interested in Baby Kratos.
This is kind of like the what is that game that they released on the Switch? I forget, but I don't remember the name offhand, but it was like a similar type of treatment where you had, God, what is the name of that game? It's the female character on the Switch games. I don't remember the game, but they did a very similar approach where it was not the same type of game, right? You have a great game in God of War where it's the environments that we're used to and the crazy blood and gore and things of that nature. And then you just kind of treat it down to put out something like this to give like a prequel. And that just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't look good, man. It's not my cup of tea. I'm going to look up that game because it's going to bug me. Switch prequel, and we're going to say female main. Let's see what comes up. Bayonetta, right? Yeah, the Bayonetta prequel. That to me,
oh yeah,
that was like a very different type of game. Yeah, like I just very different from what it was.
I mean, this is still going to be like violent Kratos, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I am interested to see what's going to go on with the 1, 2, and 3 like remake trilogy that was announced.
It's just a remake.
Well, I know, but like I want to see like what it's going to look like because I love the original 3. Like I've played those through a couple of times. It's a great trilogy. And I mean, it launched the God of War series.
Now, I do like how they treated it for this, though, right? They said, hey, just FYI, we're letting you know it's in development. It's,
it's going to be a while. Don't ask questions.
It's going to be a while. Don't ask us. But here's something to kind of whet your appetite.
Hold you over.
Right? Yeah, it'll hold you over.
Well, that's what that Prince of Persia was supposed to be. And then they ended up canceling the real Prince of Persia.
Yeah,
remake.
Well, they didn't. I don't think they've necessarily canceled it. It says that iteration, that the way that was being developed, has been canceled. But I think they are still releasing a Sands of Time remake, as far as I recall. There's just nothing been like formally announced. So like that,
we'll see.
That approach and how they were handling it has been canceled, from what I understand. Other game that is big, Beast of Reincarnation, got a summer release date, so that's exciting.
The trailer shot of that and the next game are just so similar. I mean, are these both Horizon Zero Dawn games?
You're killing me. Kena of Scars of Cosmora, that was also announced. That was a pleasant surprise for me, actually. I was not expecting it.
She's all grown up.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm excited for that one. I loved the first one, and this is definitely one that'll be a day one pickup for me.
I think it'll be really cool if they kind of turn Kina into like a new age what happened with like Jack and Daxter, where it started off as kind of this more like, you know, friendly kind of adventure, and then like they kind of age up with the audience and you kind of get, you know, more, and that's exactly what it looks like they're doing here. I love that approach.
Yeah. No, I definitely like it. I'm excited. That's gonna be a good one. I was very surprised, and it actually, because my wife and I played that one together, she turned her head around and be like, "Oh, hold on a sec. I remember that game. That was a good one."
Mm-hmm.
Ghost of Yotei Legends. So that's their multiplayer. It'll be coming out. Silent Hill Townfall. What's funny is I wasn't expecting. I don't know if this was announced a while back, but I wasn't expecting a new Silent Hill. And
Yeah, they announced 2 Silent Hills at the same time,
that's
but
right.
F was the one that was coming out sooner
Yeah.
and got all of the attention.
Gotcha. So it steered away from this. So that's why I probably forgot it. But I do remember now that you mentioned it that they did say 2 were coming. Um, so with this one, it was funny as we were watching the video and he pulls himself out of the water and he lays down. I looked at my wife. I'm like, yeah, this is a horror game. I wonder what horror game it is. And then I saw like one of the enemies kind of walking by. I'm like, oh, it's a Silent Hill game. So it was a pleasant surprise as well. This one being first person is going to be very interesting. So I am curious to see how it plays out. So that'll
Yeah.
probably be one to pick up. Uh,
Silent Hill F was so good. I definitely want to go back and check out the Silent Hill 2 remake, and then
yeah,
this one we'll be excited for too.
yeah, and I heard that they're doing a Silent Hill 1 remake as well. Should be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Legacy of Kain games are on the way. The Defiance remastered. Death
Those
Stranding
would be
2 is
cool.
on PC. Rayman 30th anniversary is going to be out, so it'll be pretty cool.
Now, Rayman was like an awesome game back in the day, but from what I've heard from watching like videos and stuff, it's like really hard actually
It is.
to beat that game. So I wonder if they're going to do a lot of like changing. From what I heard, it's going to be like they're going to have like a couple different versions of the game or something.
Yeah,
Like
but they're
it's going to
also
be like an anniversary collection.
yeah, they also are including accessibility in it, which is infinite lives and other stuff. So people understanding it's a hard game. I mean, it's kind of BS. I don't think people need to struggle like we did when we were younger in the 90s on this one. But I played some of the newer Rayman games or one of the newer ones on, I guess, the Wii U, or I think it was the Wii U is when it was out initially.
Legends.
I think it was Legends. Yeah, that was a good game.
Legends was a good one. Everybody liked that.
Yeah.
I only got to play like a demo level where you're like running and gliding down like these things, and it's like all to like music, and it was just like, yes, this is sick.
Yeah, that one has like rock music and stuff at the end of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that was so fun.
yeah, Rayman Legends was fantastic. So I definitely, if anybody out there hasn't played it, definitely check that one out for sure. It's got the difficulty on it, but it's just a fun platformer in general. So, Project Winless. So, I forgot what game it was. There was one game that was previewed. I think it was. Let me scroll down this list. It was the game that they previewed was that Ninja one. Oh, Yako Shinobi Ops. So as we're watching that, my wife says, "Oh, yeah, it looks kind of like your type of game." I'm like, "Yeah, not really. Like I like the stealth and Shinobi stuff, but I'm not a big fan of the approach that they took of like the top-down view." It looked pretty cool, but it just wasn't my thing, right? And so then Project Windless comes up, and I'm watching the opening trailer of the main female protagonist or not protagonist, but antagonist. And she's got these vines coming out and there's blood and gore. I'm like, okay, this looks like more of my style of game. And then the rooster comes out. The fact that you play as a giant ass rooster with a huge sword, slashing at hordes of enemies, sold. That's on the list from now on. So I'm excited for this. I cannot wait.
The description here is great. Project Winless was formally revealed during the State of Play stream. It's an upcoming open world RPG set in the world of Ling Yudo's The Bird That Drinks Tears fantasy series.
I'd never heard of a fantasy series before, so it makes
The
sense.
bird who drinks tears.
It makes sense. The bird that drinks tears. So clearly, the tears of his fallen enemies, I guess.
I want to see so many like gameplay music videos set to Chicken Attack.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, this is one that is definitely on the radar. So that'll probably be a day one for me one day too. For Loop was another one. That looked pretty cool actually. I like the concept on
Mhm.
For Loop of the team gets together and they can kind of like there's no like similar area that you go to if you're squad to try and complete a series of areas and there's a probability that's mixed in as well and you have like these hordes of aliens that you're supposed to battle. So that was a pretty cool one overall. So
It looks different.
it has, yeah, that one had my attention. Like if you're going to do a game like that, I don't know if it's live service or not. I couldn't catch that, but if it is a live service type game, that's the type of like live service game I think that we need. Stuff that's it's still very much in a realm of what people are used to, and it doesn't include so many crazy like mechanics such as horse racing, all sort of stuff. Like the idea of picking with your
Why don't you
squad.
like horses in games, John?
I don't like horses in games. So I enjoyed it. It says it's like a Left 4 Dead co-op game. I like the probability mapping that comes with it. It gives a little more strategic depth to the game without needing to be like over engineered, I guess. And the fact that everybody can kind
Mhm.
of vote on that next area is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Pragmata had a pretty cool trailer. Showed us a little more of like the
We've
enemies that
seen
you'll
a ton
fight.
of that.
Yeah, that one looks really good. Resident Evil Requiem, we already saw that a while back.
Comes out at the end of the month. Gonna get that.
Yeah, Brigadine Abyss talk about tactical RPGs, but there's that 100 plus playable classes. Galactic Racers, they had another trailer. We already knew about that one. Dead or Alive is going to be turning 30, so they had Dead or Alive 6 last round mentioned. So that looks pretty interesting. It says that it's June 25th as a free to play title, so that might be something
Oh,
for you to,
sick. I'll check that out.
yeah, so that's one for you to look at. Control Resonant looked pretty badass again.
Mhm.
Uh,
That
Cri-
looks sick.
Crimson Moon looked pretty interesting. That one caught my wife's attention. Mina the Hollower, that is the team that did Shovel Knight. I
I
really
was surprised that see that at this showcase.
well, I mean, it was mixed in with like a bulk of other types of
Like a
indie.
splash reel.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but it's made by the creators of Shovel Knight, so
Mhm.
I really enjoyed Shovel Knight and whatever that team can deliver. So we'll see what they do with this.
Oh,
Then
have you not seen content for that one before? That's gonna be a great one.
mm-mm. No, I hadn't.
It was supposed to come out on Halloween last year.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mhm.
The Neva DLC content that is available on the 19th, so might be interested in getting that one. We'll see. Considering that I just played
You
Neva not
liked
too
the
long ago.
first one a lot.
Yeah, I did. So it'll be interesting to see the overall story that goes with this. So yeah, that might be worth some DLC purchase for me. I already talked about Yoko Shinobi. 007 First Light. Is that Tom Holland? Did I get that right when I was watching a video?
I don't know.
Let's see. Tom Holland, 007 First Light. It looked like an older Tom Holland. He is not playing James Bond in First Light. It's Patrick Gibson. Let's see what Patrick
I don't know who
Gibson
that
looks
is.
like.
I'm guessing like James Bond in First Light.
He kind of looks like no. He looks like an older. Oh, is he Dexter? Is that who that is? I don't know actors very much, but yeah, okay. He's in 10 episodes of Dexter apparently. He kind of looks
So
like an
he's
older.
not Dexter.
He's not Dexter. But the thing is, like, you know, IMDb as it shows what they're in.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know who that guy is, but he looked like an older Tom Holland. So I could kind of see it. All right, let's go past that. Metal Gear Solid Collection 2 was announced, so you'll get Peace Walker as well as Guns of the Patriots and Metal Gear Ghost of Babel. Will be on there.
So this is going to be the first time Metal Gear Solid 4 has been off the PS3.
Yeah, you had mentioned that a while back, actually, so it's going to be cool. Darwin's Paradox looked awesome.
That's a weird one.
You play as a little octopus with aliens and other crazy stuff. And I love how they open up the scene of you're kind of trying to sneak by and there's a bunch of chefs that are sitting in front of you in chairs that are talking about how to make certain soup. And then you have like a scene where you're dodging like knives, or you're dodging like metal plates that are coming down to cut you up. So that's a pretty cute looking game and up my alley. Belmont's Curse, New Castlevania. was
Now,
announced.
this is a good-looking Metroidvania.
It looked pretty good. It's not.
I thought the graphics on this one looked like they would be a ton of fun.
It's
I
not
want to
my.
play through this castle.
It's not my style of graphics, to be honest, but I could see it being a fun game. Having just beat one of the Castlevanias recently. Rev Noir looked interesting as a JRPG. John Wick looked pretty good as well.
It's about time they made a John Wick game.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting to see how this is. But I like the John Wick movies, and it's Keanu Reeves, right? Can't go wrong. Marathon, though, you could start playing that in 2 weeks. They're going to have their server slam or whatever it's called. I think it's like February 26th to March 4th or something like that. And Marathon actually looks pretty decent, I think. So I might actually check that one out. I don't know if it's free to play or not.
It's going to be like a $40 game.
Yeah, if it's a $40 game, we'll see. If it's like online only, I think that's going to hurt it.
It is. It's an extraction shooter.
Yeah, so it does look pretty interesting, though. So I will give it that.
I mean, hopefully they've been able to, fix it up. I know that when the last or first round of beta testing was out, people played it and some people really liked it, but people said it didn't have that thing that grabbed you, and it just didn't have as much environmentally going around. Like, people like playing Arc Raiders because of what you can kind of do and run into in the world. And this had a lot of like, you go to a terminal and a terminal tells you to go somewhere, and then you go there to a terminal and a terminal tells you to go somewhere else. It wasn't really like meaningful choices in the world. So if they improve that, then I think that this will be pretty sweet, because it looks amazing. Like, I love the design language of this game is very cool.
Yeah, same. I really like the way that it's positioned in the world. Gameplay will be a different story, so we'll see how that goes. But I actually kind of have faith in this one. This one will be pretty good. So we'll see.
They need it.
Yeah, definitely need it. Saros, we got another look at Saros, and we got like an in-depth background on like the gameplay and development from the Housemarque team. Marvel Token is coming this summer. That looked pretty interesting as well, but definitely not something that I would normally jump into. So
it looks cool, but team fighters are so hard.
Yeah,
there's just so many more moving parts in there.
Fighters are just, again, not my thing, man. It's just not something that excites me to play a fighting game. It could look like the best fighting game ever, and I'll give it a shot, but I'm not going to go out of my way to go buy it. That's something that if I saw it for like $10,
unless it's old.
Yeah, if it's old and I see it for like $10 down the road, yeah, I'll jump into it and play it. But
oh, dude, John, if I get good at fighting games, I could come whoop your ass at rival schools.
You're not whooping my ass at rival schools. I was thinking about that too. Like, I wish Capcom would take rival schools and remaster it or remake it.
That would be sick.
That would be a good one for sure. And a lot of people out there haven't really played it, so I think you'd get like some cool nostalgia that would come from that from a lot of people that have enjoyed it. And then of course you'd get a lot of new players jumping into that original franchise. So, and there's a Rival Schools 2, I think it is, on a Dreamcast, if I recall. I think it's a Japanese only.
Sick.
Yeah. I know they released a second one, I believe it was. So that's pretty much it. I actually felt that this was a good state of play.
This was a good state of play. They had a lot of actually really cool stuff, and there wasn't anything that was like, just a total look over. Like, we weren't all that jazzed on that first God of War thing, but I mean, that doesn't mean it's going to be bad necessarily.
Yeah, it's just not something that we're interested in playing. What's funny is I was chatting with a guy on our YouTube who was like, man, there's been like, it was on our like PS5 peak video. He's like, there's been no good games that have come out on the PS5 or this generation. Like, back in the day, you would have 15 games, or not 15 games, you'd have like a game a week that was coming out. I'm like, yeah, but you got to consider like longer development times. Financially, it's a lot more money to produce nowadays.
We're barely getting games that started being produced when the PS5 was out.
Yeah, like when we say peak PS5, we're talking about like, this is when those games that were 5 years ago being developed are starting to come out finally. Hence why we're watching this. Is like, oh yeah, this game is coming out. in 2026. This one's coming out in summer. This is coming out in spring. Like we're getting all of these releases coming out at once. And yeah, it's not as like fruitful as back on the PlayStation and PlayStation 2, where you were getting consistent games coming on a frequent basis. But I think you also have to consider that video games now just are longer to develop in general. And so if you have longer
Yeah.
development time frames, it costs money, and you can't develop as a small studio, you can't develop 4 games at one time, right? Like maybe how you used to be able to do it. I don't know. I'm not a developer, but I just feel like we're at a point in time where the development cycle is so long as is and so expensive that you just, as studios, they can't afford to make a mistake. And if they're going to put all their eggs in that basket for that particular game, they kind of have to do that, right? They can't have so many different projects and potentially fail in like 3 out of 4 projects that they put out. I just don't think that
Yeah.
that's a feasible business model, and it makes sense. So, but either way, so that was that. Let's jump into our inflation deflation, which is We're Back on the Super Nintendo, developed by Visual Concepts, published by High Tech Expressions, designed by Colin Silverman, Jonas Stitch, and Gregory A. Thomas. Released in November of 1993, it is a platformer with a reception of 5 out of 10. And then, what is our synopsis?
So this is We're Back, a Dinosaur Story, the movie, the game for the Super Nintendo. Like many a game or a movie back in the day, they had a game tie-in for that film that had almost nothing to do with the actual plot of the movie and was often very different, but tried to use as much as they could. So this is just kind of one of those generic platformers. And folks, this one got us. Me and John both suffered the same problem of getting very stuck in a very stupid way in the first level. There's this jump that you have to make that is apparently possible, but for some reason neither of us were able to get it done. I actually wound up just watching a playthrough because I was like, how do you get over this? And then I
Yeah.
just never went back to playing. I just kept watching the playthrough instead.
So it's a very short game, actually. If you're to play it through, it's like a 45-minute game in general, if you can make it past the giant wall of cans. But for me,
It's actually shorter than the movie.
that's kind of scary because it's a pretty short movie. But
yeah,
you know,
it's a good movie.
they probably factor in some of a broken level building in this game as a, as adding time. So the can thing that we're talking about is you get to a certain point where you're hitting a dumpster. There's this giant wall, like 6 or 7 cans, and you try to jump over it normally, nothing happens. You try to get on a platform that's kind of coasting along, but it doesn't go far enough for you to be able to jump over it. So the only other logical choice is to jump from a dumpster. It is hard as hell, man. I could not do it. I knew that's what I had to do. You said you watched a video. I didn't even watch a video. I just knew that was what I had to do, and I could not make the jump. The game is just so slow and clunky that it's just not good. You can't get like a good running start to make a jump if you're in position. Like the thing that I had an issue with is like when you're at that dumpster trying to make that jump, it's almost impossible because
your
you
jump
can't.
arc is not very generous on this game.
It's
I mean,
not
you can
very
jump
good.
high, but trying to get forward momentum in your jump is difficult.
I don't know if I was doing something wrong or what, but like I was holding down, I think it was the X button to be able to, get a
Run.
little bit, get the run and do a little bit of a start. I couldn't do it. Maybe
Pixel perfect.
Maybe I had to get a running start, hit the dumpster, and then jump over. I didn't try that, so maybe that would have done it for me. But in the video you watched, did they do that, or did they jump directly?
No, I think they just jumped from a standstill or something.
I got no
or
idea.
Or maybe
but,
a walking start. I only glanced at briefly.
Yeah, so you throw baseballs. That's your item that you're throwing. I think it's a baseball. That's what it looks like.
You can get a tail sweep attack
later on because I couldn't do one.
So I was running around and I summoned Zorb, and he fed me some brain grain, and then after that I kind of got mad for a second and I thought I was going to be able to charge through those barrels.
Same.
And then after that I could do a tail whip attack.
Interesting. Well, you could not charge through the barrels, unfortunately. But yeah, ultimately, it's a slow and clunky game. It's got some pickups that are okay. I noticed that, and you notice this too. You have like hanging flagpoles, and you can't jump through to go up to get on them, but you can't jump on them, and then it just puts you through. So like
They're
that's
not a platform,
they're
but they
not
seem
a
like they're half a platform.
they're not a platform, but you literally cannot jump through them, which should indicate that it's some sort of platform. Some buildings had ledges that you could get on, and the same exact looking ledge, building to building, you couldn't get on some of them. So it was a very oddly developed game, and
Yeah.
it is. I don't know if I would have continued to progress, that I would have enjoyed it and it would have gotten any better. And looking at the overall review average of 5 out of 10, I would feel that other people felt very similar about this game. And when we talk about an average of 5 out of 10, I don't think we're getting the spectrum of like 10 and 1 here. I think we're getting like 6 and 4s to get to that
Yeah.
5, right? Um, so yeah, not the best game for this week. So we need to pick a much better game for next week. That's a movie title.
This is a very good movie. I actually did make time to go back and watch the movie this week. This was a childhood favorite of mine. If you were a dinosaur kid that liked dinosaurs, this was like a good one. Uh, the fabulous John Goodman taking the starring role in this definitely holds up very well. If you've got kiddos now and you grew up on this, definitely show that to them.
Yeah,
Um,
this movie I saw not too long ago with my son, and he liked it. And so I know the reviews on We're Back are not the best of reviews from people, but at the end of the day, it's not necessarily made for adults; it's made for kids. And when I look
I
back at,
mean, but it's not like super kiddie actually. Like
no, it
when you
really
go back and
isn't.
watch it, it doesn't have like a lot of those like real kiddie moments. It's got like a pretty quick story that doesn't lose a lot of momentum, and the animation is just fantastic. It's so bright and colorful and big.
Yeah. And the story holds up too, like you said. I mean, you have these dinosaurs that are dropped in to help kids, and they find a couple of them, and they have the general story as it progresses. It's been a while since I watched it, but you know, towards the end, I guess I don't want to ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but you know, you have the whole thing where dinosaurs become vicious, and through the power of like the love and the kids and such, they get back their, you know, their goodness, I guess you could say, which I
Mm-hmm.
guess kind of ties into We're Back as a title as well. Like We're Back in terms of dinosaurs are back, but We're Back for that scene as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a wholesome movie at the end of the day. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
got some bad reviews, but it's not like it's a terrible movie. I mean, it's
No,
actually pretty good.
definitely worth checking out for sure.
Yeah. We had,
Unlike this game.
we had somebody in a comment that said that The Page Master is not a good movie. And
Yeah.
I'm like, sir, nostalgia says otherwise.
Right.
And then we had somebody else that I showed you that was happy about The Page Master and us talking about the game because they had no idea. So yeah, good stuff there. So brass tacks on this game, complete in box, $45.81. It peaked at $68.74 in July of 23. That price is trending up right now. A loose copy will run you $770. That peaked at $10.47 back in December of 2024. That's also trending up. What's not trending up is my thoughts on this game. I think it is completely inflated and not worth playing, even at $770.
Right.
I think it's a $5 game.
Yeah, no, this is definitely inflated. This is not worth your time or your money.
Is there
All
a
right,
Land
John,
Before
I've got a go ahead.
Time movie?
I'm sure there is. So what I was going to say is I've got the Wikipedia list of games based on films here, and I'm just scrolling up and down lightning
All right.
fast. Tell me when to stop.
Stop. It's got to be a good one,
All
and it's got to
right.
be one that we got.
Let's see. Do you have Legend of the Guardians: The Owls of Ga'Hoole on Nintendo DS?
Oh
I don't
no,
think that's what we're gonna
no,
play.
I definitely don't have that. Go on, do another scroll. Let's see what we get.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Let me do it again. Okay. Now I've grabbed the bar because I wasn't going very far with my scrolly wheel.
Oh, okay. All right. Stop. What do we got now?
Believe it or not, we've got
We're back. We gotta play it
Miami
again.
Vice, the game.
Oh, I don't want to play. I don't want to play that. Just start scrolling down, and I'll tell you right off the bat what we should
Michael
play.
Jackson's Moonwalker's under that. Have we already done that?
No, we should do that one. Wait, is that based
You
on a
wanna
movie?
Yeah, that's a movie.
Okay, let's do that one. I never
Okay,
played it. I never
perfect.
played it. That'd be fun. I have it. So that'd be a good one to mess with. Okay, cool. So next week is Michael
That's
Jackson's.
one we should have played.
I'm surprised we haven't actually. Yeah, I know in that one you get to throw his hat around, if I recall.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's got like sparkles and stuff. I've seen videos years ago, but I never did play it. So that'll
There's
be
a
a good
speed
one.
run of that too. That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
You know what we should do next month? We should just play really stupid games like the McDonald's platformer on Sega. We should play the Pepsi Man game.
So a bunch of food tie-in
Just
games.
a bunch of food tie-in games.
We'll do movie tie-in and then food tie-in.
We've got so we got Cool Spot for 7-Up or Sprite, right? We've got the Ronald McDonald one.
Haven't we played Cool Spot though?
Maybe we might have. I don't know, but
have we played Pepsi Man?
No, we haven't played the Pepsi Man game.
Pepsi Man.
What's another food game? There's got to be a pizza game out there. So let's do
the Noid.
There we go. Okay, so is that definitely pizza?
Yeah, avoid the Noid. It's Domino's.
Oh shit!
Obviously, right. John.
You're right. Okay. So let's do pizza or not pizza, but let's do Food Month in March. Let's tap that one down. That's gonna be such a terrible month of games. All right. So next week we're playing Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Got it down. Okay. Well, this has been episode 381 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John.
I'm Ryan.
And thanks for listening and watching.